Hey boys and girls, this is a refresher video for what we did in class on Thursday and Friday. This will be a video showing you how to multiply a 3-digit times a 1-digit number using the 3 different strategies. After I go through the 3-digit times a 1-digit, we will also look over a 4-digit times a 1-digit using the 3 strategies. To begin, this box right here, we want to talk about how we can read this using our words. We know we can read it 426 times 3, but we can also read this 426 groups of 3. Just always remember this multiplication sign can mean groups of, okay? That's the important part there. All right, now let's look at the standard algorithm strategy. This is known as the traditional strategy. This is what your parents and your teachers all learned when they were in school. You need to set up the problem vertically. So 426 times 3. I'm going to put my 3 under my 6 because they're both in the ones place. And then I just start by multiplying my 3 to my ones place. 3 times 6 is 18. I put my ones place here, and I have to add that 1 in the number 18 to my tens place. Because I can't just put it here, because this space is for when we multiply 3 times 2. So we can't use it up right now. So I have 3 times 6 is 18. Okay. Then I'm finished with this 6, so I can mark it out so it doesn't confuse me. Now I want to go to the tens place. 3 times 2 is 6, but we have this plus 1. So 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 6 plus 1 is 7. So I write my 7. I'm finished with this 2. I'm finished with this plus 1. I've used them. So now I'm going to take my 3 to the hundreds place. 3 times 4 is 12. I put my 2 down here, and I would carry my 1 over here, but there's no number to carry it to. Sorry, guys, my light just went out. So I would just put my 1 right there. So my answer is 1,278. Okay. Now let's look at, that is the traditional way. That's the standard algorithm way of multiplying a 3-digit times a 1-digit number. Now we're going to look at the distributive property and how we use the distributive strategy to multiply. All right, so we're going to do the same numbers, 426 times 3, all right? Same way we do 2-digit times 1-digit. You're going to take this big number, the first big number, and you're going to divide it into the different place values. My 4 is in the 100 spot. My 2 is in the 10 spot, and my 6 is in the 1 spot. So if you need to draw an H and a T and an O to help remind you what place value those numbers are in, go for it. That's very helpful. So I know my 4 is in the 100 spot, so I have 400, all right? Then my 2 is in the 10 spot, so it's worth 20. And my 6 is in the 1 spot, so it's just worth 6, okay? Now, I divided my big number up into the hundreds, tens, and ones. Now, I have to take this lonely number over here, my number 3, and I have to distribute, which means take it to each place, okay? I have to distribute it out. So I like to tell my students, this little number here is all by himself. It's lonely, so it's going to go visit all 3 of its friends, okay? And we're multiplying here. So times 3. And he gives them a big hug, and then times 3, gives them a big hug, and then times 3. Again, he gives that friend a big hug. Now, we have to have something between our groups of multiplication. We're going to put a plus sign between them, okay? Now, we just do the math. I'm going to do 400 times 3 first. I don't know if your teachers have shown you this, but if you have a number where it ends in zeros, you can just ignore those zeros. I like to cover them up and just look at the first number, 3 times 4, I know is 12, but then I have 2 zeros, so I need to add 2 zeros here. So 400 times 3 is 1,200. Then I bring my plus sign down. Now I'm going to do this one. Again, my number ends in a 0, so I can cover that 0. And I can say 3 times 2 is 6, but I have to put my 0 on the end. And then I'm bringing that plus sign down. And I know 6 times 3 is 18, because I've been studying my simple multiplication flashcards. Make sure you're doing that at home. All right, now I'm just going to add these up, and I can create a problem up and down vertically to help me add. I know 0, 0, and 8 is 8. 0, 6, and 1 added together is 7. My 2 comes straight down, and my 1 comes straight down. Don't forget to add your comma there. So I got 1,278. And let's just check ourselves. Back up here on the traditional way, we also got 1,278. So that's perfect. That worked out great. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to turn the lights back on. All right. Now that we've done the traditional model and the distributive model, let's look at area model. Area model is when area means to multiply length times width. And we told you in class, anytime you do the area model, the first thing you need to do is draw your rectangle box. That's what I'm going to do. Because when I think of area, I'm thinking of a space that I'm going to find how much all this inside is worth. And my problem that I'm doing is 426 times 3. All right? So when we do area model, we want to put our big number across the long top side of the box. So we're going to have 4, 2, and 6. And we're going to divide those so that they have their own little section of the box. And then we have the 3 here. So we're going to have a 3 on the side, right? Now we got to remember how much each of these is worth. Again, if it helps you put the H for hundreds, the T for tens, and the 0 for the ones, then you can do that to help you out. So I know my 4 is in the hundreds place, so I'm going to have 400 times my width, 3. 400 times 3 in this box. Then my 2 is in the tens place, so it's worth 20. So 2 or 20 times 3 in this box. And then this 6 here is in the ones place, so it's just worth 6. I'm going to do 6 times 3 in this box. Now I can do my multiplication. This area model is a very good mix between traditional and distributive. If you think about it, it's separating your numbers out into the hundreds, tens, and ones, kind of like we did here in distributive. But then when you get to your boxes, you're doing the traditional model. So it's kind of a good mix between the two. All right, 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 4 is 12. So there's one of my one of my box's answers. In a minute, I've got to add all of my answers up, so we're not finished. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 2 is 6. There's another box's answer. And 3 times 6 is 18. Right? I'm not finished. I have to take my 3 answers and I have to add them up to find my final answer. So I have 8, 6, and 1 is 7. Bring down my 2. Bring down my 1. Don't forget your comma. 1,278. Same thing we got on distributive. Same thing we got up here on standard algorithm. All right, boys and girls, that right there is how you use the 3 different multiplication strategies to find a 3-digit times a 1-digit number. If you have any other questions, just contact your teacher and let them know.